Hello, subscribers. Welcome to part 12 of my ongoing series, Reviewing in the Beginning. Episode 13 begins with a recap of everything that's happened to Moses so far, which really seems like a waste of time, but it is episode 13, which means there could potentially have been a gap between this episode and the last. But regardless, it does waste time they could have spent on detailing the plagues more, which is what this episode is about, the 10 plagues. And the first thing they mess up on, they had no reason to mess up on.
Those of you who doubt me are like this diseased hand, and the Lord shall cure you as he cures this hand. Come now.
That is not how his hand is supposed to become undiseased. And the anime knows this. They got it right in the actual burning bush scene, but then just one episode later they seem to forget that and have it just vanish. So then we go to the 10 plagues, and it's mostly accurate. It's hard to tell because they skip over some of them, and they really mostly just narrate the plagues. They don't really go through them one by one in any sort of detail. And then they just do this recap scene.
Moses and Aaron are mere shamans. They merely happen to guess the results of the movement of the stars.
Your Highness, they have deceived you. The disasters would have happened without them.
But how could all of the Egyptian livestock become diseased and die when none of the Hebrews' livestock was touched? And why, when all of our houses were invaded by flies, did the Israelites' homes go unharmed? And the frogs! What about those unsightly creatures? And what about the hailstones that destroyed our crops? And why was it when our fields were infested with locusts, their fields remained untouched? Why? Why?
And what is with the animation in this scene? Is it just me, or is there something off with the way some of these characters are animated? Like, something about her face seems, what's the word, amateurish. And then this guy's just got gray eyes. Compare that to how the Pharaoh looks. So much more detail and expressive. They definitely had more expensive animators working on the Pharaoh than on his lackeys. Whoops, I skipped over something. When Moses first went to the Pharaoh, they slightly messed up the order of the snake scene.
Oh!
Oh! What's this? I shall scour all of Egypt and find a magician who has more power than you. And when I find him, it will be your defeat.
We are not magicians. We are servants of the Lord Almighty.
And it doesn't even make sense as to why these magicians are doing this show. Moses is supposed to do it first. Then the others copy him, then his snake eats theirs. Pretty convenient that the anime doesn't show us how they came to this situation. So anyway, then we get the 10 plagues, which we already went over, and now we come to the Passover, which of course has a bit of an error in it.
Now the Lord Almighty will surely bring down his most terrible punishment. The firstborn throughout Egypt shall all die. But the Lord has told me that the children of his people shall be spared.
Are you sure? Will our children be safe?
The Lord will descend on every Egyptian household, but he will pass over the homes of the Israelites. Our children will all be saved.
No, their children will not be saved unless they follow the instructions. Now, to the anime's credit, it does go through the instructions, but the instructions kind of lose their meaning when they already have the promise that the angel of death will pass over them. On the plus side, though, this is another moment where the anime surprised me with its accuracy, with something I would not have thought about.
On the first day and on the seventh day, no work is to be done.
It's easy enough to remember that they're not allowed to work on the seventh day, but it had completely passed me over, pun intended, that they weren't supposed to work on the first day of the first Passover. So bravo to the anime for getting that part. And the last disappointment in this anime was the lack of screaming from the Egyptians when all their firstborn died. The only scream we get is from Pharaoh's wife, from his son dying. And basically it feels like the Pharaoh's firstborn is the only firstborn that dies. So that's the 10 plagues. On the next episode, they go through their departure from Egypt and the parting of the Red Sea. See you then.